Okay, everyone, welcome back to JSMFX for another episode and edition of Forex Focus for the reviews on the date of 24th to 28th of November. That is closing down the month, and the focus for 1st December to 5th of December 2025. So gear up and let us begin. So today we're going to begin with my account. Just as always, I promise you that every month we'll be following up with on what I've been doing during the month and how maybe I have been progressing. So starting off with my metrics, as you can see here, we have a very linear kind of growth, and as you can see, just as from the start there were so many ups and downs, but at least the gist was understood, and I understood also how the metrics is done and all these psychology, risk management and everything, and as you can see, it's performing very well. Okay, so as much as the graph shows that I am performing well, I still had some few bumps on the way, like here and also here. Okay, but this was a very good trade, as on the way I was also looking to take partials and not actually let my profits run to full profit. So what I'm trying to say is it is not easy to get to this point, but if you only concentrate and you have your psychology in set, or in place, then you know that this result is obviously going to play out for you. So for now, what I can say is I'm up 5%. I'm still in the first phase. I'm not ashamed to say so, because I want to motivate someone. I want to also show someone that you can also make it in prop firms if you want to get into the business of prop firms and also trading in large, because it's giving me so much confidence that now even if I stumble upon like 200,000 or 100,000 Kenyan shillings, I'll just go for 100k prop firm account, because with here I can get to diverse my portfolio. I can get to enlarge my capital and also grow myself financially, so that I can get to withdraw from there and get more money. So this is, I think, 5.04%, as you can see, and right now I'm playing around 52,521. Okay, which translates to that percentage. Consistency score, for me, this one is not really that important. Yes, it does motivate me, but it's really not that important, because yes, your trades can be good. Say, for example, even when I was still ranging around here, as much as I was growing, still the consistency score, as according to what you have seen here, it was still the same. It was about 80 to 90, 80 to 90. Okay, so for me, that is not really that important, but at least it gets me going. Right here we have the objectives, and as you can see, I'm up 5%. I've only managed to lose minus 149, and here on the daily loss 313. Okay, so minimum of trading days, as you can see, I have gone over to 47 days, and yeah, it's not bad. At least I'm not that much active in the market. Okay, so here statistics now is where everything is written in black and white and shows you the reality of how your trading is going. So for me, from the win rate, as you can see, I have been playing between, I was actually last month, as I made the last video for last month's data, I was playing around 47, 48. So right now, actually from the metrics, when my balance was up about here, my what do you call it, my win rate was about 51 or 50%, somewhere around there, but it has come down to 49.40 because of this small loss, which I'll explain in from Euro USD. Okay, so right now my win rate is 49.40. As you can see, that's the average profit, average loss, sharp ratio, loss size, total loss size that I've used, and the number of trades. Now I am very, very curious to see how much I would be with 100 trades. Okay, because we normally say, or most professionals say, when when you get to 100 trades, look at your data and also your win rate to see if you're actually, making money out of the 100 trades. Okay, so I'm also curious to see when it gets to 100, how much or how much percentage I would be making. Okay, so average RR is that. Expectancy, as you can see, is there, and then profit factor. For these ones, I can't really explain much because I really don't know much about them, and they're not actually that important for me. For me, I love to see the win rate, number of trades, loss size used, and also average profit and loss. Okay, and also now this data and these metrics. Those are the most important things that actually I look for in a ProFarm journal website. So these are the trends that I took. I think I'll explain more from the charts to how I achieved them. And I think this was from 13th, yeah, from 11th of November. As you can see, 11th of November was 198. 12th of November was a very big loss, okay, because it went straight to my stop loss and took me out. 13th of November, as you can see, this was one trade actually. It looks like two because I took partials, so this was one trade and played out very well. 18th November, this was a loss also. There's one trade that I took out of the advice from some group that we were looking at from the same pair, but yeah, that was just a regret that I have to live with and move on from that. 20th November, very good trade, as you can see, gave me 751. And then 28th November, that is I think yesterday. Today is on Saturday, so yesterday on Friday, 28th November, that was the result. So I'll explain this in the charts for you to see. From the trading journal, you can see how it was performing. I normally took more of sells than buys. Okay, and here the symbol you can see Euro USD is the one topping up because I concentrate on that one than any other. GJ not so much, I divorced it. USDCHF is currently what I'm looking at together with the Euro USD, and all those others are US30, gold, and Euro JPY. Those I already also divorced, and yeah, right now I'm only left with the USDCHF, Euro USD, and the DAX. That's the Germany 40. For the volume, I can't really explain much because I really don't know how to look at it or rather explain, but I'll do some research on it, and next time maybe I'll be able to explain what is actually going there. Close trades, no, not going. Daily P&L. This now is my calendar, as you can see, from this October. Yeah, so from November, the whole of November, this is what has been happening. Monthly rate, I have been able to make at least 1.3%. No, this should be 2.5. 2.5 because 500 is 1%, so 2.5% is what I have made this month. Okay, and actually it's a very good performance for me because if you check very well from, let's say, September, yeah, let's say August, you can see how much loss that I've been getting. Okay, here we have the minus 264, then we have the minus 427 right here if you check, and then we have 845 for October, meaning that I was now progressing well to understand my strategy and also building my edge. And then November, as you can see, 1300. So that means that I'm actually progressing. So that's just about it for the account performance and also the update on my FTMO 50K challenge. I'm still in phase 1 to 5% up, and yeah, hope to get to 10% by end of the year, so that I get to look at how I'll start the year with the second phase and also finish and get funded and get that money back. That's it. Let's now go to the news as we look forward to get into the charts. Okay, so the news. One thing I'm happy about is that the US government shutdown is over. So now we can get back to volatility and, making some money out of the data that will be displayed, especially from now on. Okay, being the end of the month, for me personally, I'll be looking to get some, reaction of price in the market and the charts to, give us a little bit of moves and clues of where the pairs are going to go to on the next direction. Coming in on next week, we see on Monday, we have the ISM manufacturing PMI. This will be a bit important for me because yeah, I've seen it giving us some little bit of effects when it comes to the PMI, especially this one. Not really much. The CHF, yes, also I'll be checking on it because recently I've been looking at the pair that involves this currency, and yeah, I'll be very much to open, or rather aware, to see what will happen on that day. Tuesday, we have the Fed chairperson speech, where also that will be a bit significant for me, wanting to see how it will play out. We have the CPI on the euro also. That is another thing that also I'll be checking out to see which data will be displayed. Um, Wednesday, third of deck, we see also the ISM services PMI, and also we have the ADP employment change. This one's for me not really much. I won't really be checking it out that much because it's not that kind of important, if I may say. Thursday, we see the continuing jobless claims that will also be in the lineup. This one also, yes, for this, I'll be very much attentive to see what will happen, and also the ECB window speech. Yeah, just, checking out what will actually going on. I don't know about NFP this Friday because it's the first week of the month. But I'll be very, very cautious to see what will happen around here. The personal spending, PCE, personal income, and the Michigan consumer sentiment, not really much. But the PCE, this will be something that I'll be also be checking out. Okay, so that's the news. Let us now jump into the charts. Okay, so let's get down to business now. Starting off with the DAX, I'm going to look at it from the monthly. And I'm still impressed by this move of this candle, which is currently shaping into a doji. It's uncertain for me to say that it's gonna make that downfall, but to be honest, that's my bias because I'm still eyeing this pullback right now, this one, to be the one that price wants to come and mitigate before it continues to the upside. So whatever is happening right here is price is just pulling back inside this supply and then maybe make the decision from there and see if it can continue to the downside to just come and mitigate this demand before it continues to the upside. So two things can happen: either it breaks that supply to the upside and then continues with the uptrend, or it comes and mitigates that point or maybe some areas of demand in the lower time frames and then maybe continue to the upside, because this is very huge. And I can say that with these long weeks, there's so much that was left untouched. There's so many demands that are left untouched, and I'll be looking to see um the price coming back to them before maybe deciding to go in the direction they intended to. The weekly also same thing, just like I said on the monthly. So we are seeing that pullback with this candle, this bullish candle, which has pushed price up to also the same supply as the monthly. Also in the weekly, we can see that it has pull back to that supply and then maybe wanting to maybe reverse from there, or rather continue with that downtrend that it has started to here. Okay, so another thing is this confluence right here of this pullback that push price up to break this high and also this high, not really break but just take out the wick for a sign of liquidity. It could be a fake break, but because it's a weekly time frame, we could be seeing that move to the downside the way that I just explained in the monthly. And also another thing is we've had that change of character, and before that change of character right here we see price pull back to create that supply before it came down. So right now price is pulling back to that supply before possibly or probably continue to the downside to there. Okay, so that's just what I'm seeing from the weekly. So let's jump into the daily. Daily also same thing. I mean, you see how now everything is just, aligning on its own. Okay, so we have this move to the downside after the break of that last high, and we see another pullback, a very deep one to this demand, and then price shot to the upside. After this change of character here, we saw that price came back to that fair value gap and then shot to the downside and then range a little bit before it actually came and took out these highs and then continued to the downside. Now this downward move, okay, to break this low now gave us the strength to actually look at this as the pullback. Okay, so normally everyone says that after the break of the structure we wait for a pullback. So this is the pullback that I just started. So yes, for me, I'll be expecting this pullback to be a bit deeper, although there's an exchanging of wicks right here, which means this was another pullback before the initial move to the downside. So this is another supply also that I'm actually eyeing to see if it will react, if price will react from and then continue to the downside. But for me, I'm expecting at least a deeper pullback to this supply before maybe deciding to continue to the downside. So anything can happen, but that's just my analysis of the daily on the DAX. So for our now, it's a bit clearer because we are building more, or we are seeing more of the levels, or yeah, more of the levels that we're expecting price to come to. So number one, we see this pullback after the break of that high. We see that pullback, and as you can see also that price is now in a downtrend, same to the daily. So we had a change of character here. Price went up, but when it came down, guys had their trades around there, and then they put in their stop loss around there. But as you can see, price came and took them out and also broke structure. Again, we see another move to the downside, which actually broke that daily low. Okay, so right now we are facing that pullback to the upside. So for the 4-hour, we've had a change of character here. I'm not drawn on it, but as you can see, price came and reacted from that supply and then came and played around the supply and this demand. But this demand looked to be strong, as we see that it's the one that caused a push to the upside like that. So we have another pullback again to this exchanging wicks, and then we see again another push to the upside. So yes, this week I was around and I should have taken this trade, but I was a bit hesitant and I didn't want to, I was actually seeing or maybe expecting this supply to, push price to the downside and also continue with the downward move. But I didn't, look at the higher time frames to actually tell of the structure and the higher time frame bias that price was actually wanting to do the pullback. So right here we have another pullback, and then price now is in this supply. So we have a little range, but price pushed to the upside again, leaving this demand. Okay, leaving that demand to wait for price maybe to possibly continue to the upside. So for myself, if I do see the breach of this demand, then I'll be having a change of character. So I'll be expecting at least price to come to here, okay, to this demand, because this was the initial demand that broke this structure. So this is the demand that I'll be eyeing on next week. If price comes to here, maybe a bit deeper, like where I've just put in my axis right now, I'll be very comfortable to put in a buy stop here and then maybe play the pullback, the anticipated pullback to the upside, maybe to this daily green supply or maybe this 4-hour supply. Because if you check very well, also we had a slight pullback here before price pushed to the upside to take out those highs, and then violently, came down to actually cause a change of character. So after that change of character, we've not had the return. We could have had the return here or here, but maybe this would be the initial move to make that return back to the supply and then possibly continue to the downside. Well, this one also is something that I'll be checking on also, but to be honest, this one I'll just look at it as a reaction point. Then if price gets to there, I'll be looking for any other demand, maybe after this buy stop being tagged and price getting to that point. I'll be looking for any other areas of scaling of demand, just to scale on my trades and add on another one, and then continue to play that move to the upside like that. Okay, so I'm not a financial advisor, I'm just doing this for educational purposes. So if you understand trading and you know what is actually going on, please feel free to give me your own view. And not just that, but if I've put things clear for you, then I'm really grateful to give you that information. But I'm not an is whatever inside trader or something, inside trader. But yeah, that's just how I see things when I get to my charts, and also how I'm used to um, looking at the charts. So next we are going to look at USDCHF before we close up with Euro USD. Okay, so USDCHF, what do we see? Price is still playing around this demand right here. Okay, and for me, if you ask me, I feel that long stay around there could mean that maybe price just wants to reverse. Okay, just wants to reverse and continue with the pullback, maybe to this supply before continuing to the downside, or maybe just breach it, and come and take out all these highs that were left pending, or rather, yeah, left pending. So for this supply right here, also that I'm keeping an eye on that to see on how price will play around when it gets to here like that. Okay, so maybe that would be the one that may be used to push price to the downside. But if not, then I guess we'll just be playing that pullback to the upside, because price has really taken so much time. I think this was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months, ranging around there. So that should tell us something. That should tell us that maybe coming next year, 2026, things are gonna be different with this pair. Okay. Weekly. What do we see on the weekly? Let me try and zoom in just quickly. Okay. 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 So for the weekly, we see that price went up, came back down to not only take that low, but just to take out liquidity, and then we see move to the upside, a little bit of pullback, upside, a very deep pullback right here. But we had this pullback first before we came up, and then came down, and then where price went up like that. Okay, and then came down. It didn't take out that supply, so meaning this is a double top. Okay, then price has come back up to that supply. So in this is where now we will get to see who will win, say the buyers or the sellers. For me, I go with the buyers, and I believe that price will maybe do a little bit of a pullback before continuing to the upside and then break this high. Okay, so that's just my anticipation on the weekly for USD CHF. On the daily, what do we have on the daily? So on the daily, same structure as weekly, we still have that high, sorry, that low, coming to that high, and that high breaking that previous low. Okay, we've had a change of character right there. I'll remove this weekly levels for you to see clearly, just a second. And then we had a move to the downside to that demand after that change of character, and then from that demand we see the push to the upside, which came very well. Came very well, but did have a break around here before continuing to the upside. So this was a very nice, this is a very nice double top, and I'll be looking for price to come and take guys out from there. Move back to the demand, and then we see price coming back to that supply. So what is happening now is this supply failed, okay, and then price came to this supply. So this could be a slight pullback either to this, which I call the kissing candles or the exchanging candles, or maybe this candle here. I see this candle. Let me try and remove this. Let me remove these levels so that you can see. Try and put in a clean chart for everyone to see and understand what is actually going on. Okay, so as you can see from here, we had the pullback, and you see this candle. This was a hanging man, I guess, of which for me this week, okay, is my demand that I'm expecting at least for price to come to, and then see if maybe price will reverse from there and then react and also push price to the upside. So I'm really, my bias for me, I'm really anticipating for buys to continue on the USDCHF. Okay. Now here is where things get interesting, because uh, recently I turned to be a swing trader, so patience with swing trader, patience really has to play in your life, because if you don't have patience, then you'll just be in and out of trades that will be giving you losses. So for 4 hours, you can see we are playing between that high and this low. Price had the change of character around there. Let me zoom in. And then we see a move to the upside like that before continuing, before reversing back to just come and mitigate. You see this demand right here, the brown one, okay, where price came to. You see where I drew it from? I drew it from that week. That's the same week that I also drew on the daily. That is this one, the green one. Okay, so we see again price pushed up, building liquidity, and then it built more liquidity again, only for them to come down, I think the next week, and also the second week of November to, sorry, second week of November, to come and take them out, especially these ones, and then mitigate that demand before continue to the upside again. Now I want you to notice one thing. See the same thing that happened here with this change of character. Look at how now they've done it here. Okay, they've also played out, or rather caused another change of character there, and then pushed price to the upside, just like here. Okay, just like here, and then they've left this liquidity just like here. Okay, so you see how those patterns are actually repeating itself. Okay, so once they came to here, we see price pushing down and then come up to take out these highs, and then cause that change of character, which after that change of character was actually proven to be to be valid, is when this candle took everyone, or rather everything, out to come and mitigate this week. Remember this week again, this week that was my demand, it came and mitigated it, and then push price to the upside to just come and mitigate that supply, and then price move to the downside. So again, we see price ranging around here, and actually from this point I told guys that you can actually engage yourself in some sell trades around there, and at least aim for price to come back to that demand after the change of character, which it didn't actually do. Okay, so price pushed up to that supply, and then now it has come down. So what I'm anticipating for next week is that with this demand right here, price will only react to, okay, just to push price to the upside like that before continuing to the downside. Now, I'm not a financial advisor, so if you choose to take this trade, please, if it gets to a loss, that's up to you. That's not up to me, because this is something that I'm used to do. But if you're not used to it, to control also your emotions and your losses, make peace with your losses, that's your own problem. But for me, that's how I look at things. So for this, from this supply is where now I'll be expecting to at least price to react from, and then continue to the downside. Okay, so yes, I did share this in the group, so anyone who took it, that is in my group in Telegram, anyone who took it, then I'm sure you should be be a bit patient, and let's wait for price to at least get back up. For me, I'll be expecting for at least for it to come and get back up deeper inside this supply, put in the buy and sell stop here, just as usual, pending orders, and then look to be tagged and ride it to the downside. Say for example, if we have a very important news coming in next week, like the PCs that we just seen, I'll be expecting for at least price to be pushed to the downside to come and mitigate this demand before continuing to the upside. So yeah, anything can happen, but let's wait and see. For now, if you are in this trade, just be patient, make peace with your losses. Let this be your stop loss, don't move it. If it does break to the upside, if you want to regulate it to there, that is okay. But for me, I think that would be very safe, so that if it wants to come and take out some liquidity of this high, then it can actually do that, okay, right here, and then continue to the downside. So that's what we call giving it a little bit of a buffer. Okay, so what next? USDCHF of on the 5-15 minute. Now on the 15 minute, there's so much noise. And personally, I can't really explain, but what I'm seeing is, as much as this whole structure, the swing structure, is very, very huge, okay, I'm still seeing it as this low and this high price is still playing around there. Okay, but what I know is that price has broken to the upside, so meaning from this low we see price breaking that last high, so meaning this now could be the initial move that will continue to the upside. Okay, that will help price to continue the uptrend. Alternatively, also this could be a pullback, because if you check from the IBOS, or rather the internal structure, sorry, the I structure, we see that price has changed direction, okay, to the downtrend. So meaning that this could continue next week, okay, to continue and come and mitigate those areas of demand. Okay, so that's just what I'm seeing, and that is what I'll be expecting coming in next week. Okay, so that's just it for USDCHF. Let's now concentrate and finish up with Euro USD. Okay, last but not least, finishing up on this episode is Euro USD, and we are starting off from the monthly as always. Still the structure is the same, from that high to that low. Price has pulled back to the premiums, okay, but for me, I am looking at this change of character, which actually built this demand before continue to the upside. So I'm expecting for at least price to come and mitigate that demand before possibly continuing to the upside, or also come in and take all those guys out, because technically we are in a downtrend. Okay, so that is just what I'm expecting for now. From the monthly, I see this demand right here. Okay, I'm seeing that demand holding price right now, and also you never know, maybe price just wanted to come down here after this pullback, okay, move to the upside and then another pullback. So maybe this demand would be the one holding and then pushing price to the upside, because we still have this supply here that is waiting for price. That's the monthly. For me now, why I'm saying a price could be selling is, if you check very well from the weekly, we have the move to the upside, and then slight pullback, again slight pullback, move to the upside. Price came and took out liquidity here and then moved to the upside. But before that, we see this candle, which being the last demand, was breached right there, okay, so causing that change of character, and then price pushed back to that supply, which is the inside bar, and then came down to take out to build this supply also, but the price didn't break that last low. Okay, so anything can happen from here, but for me, I see this maybe being a pullback before continuing to the downside, because I see all this, the uptrend to the upside was just a liquidity kind of build up. Okay, so anything can happen from there, and I'm hoping to see moves or continuation of that downward move as it started from there. The daily also, we see very well that price caused a change of character around here, and then had a slight pullback, and then moved to the downside to mitigate this demand, and then pull back again, and then I moved to the downside, and then this pullback just came back to this supply. Okay, and then we had another pullback, and then sorry, another move to the downside. It didn't break this low, the last low, but I did have another pullback again to this supply. So two things: either it breaches the supply and continues to the upside, just like we saw on the weekly, or it comes down to check out all these lows. Okay, number one, and also mitigate this demand, the daily demand, which was not touched right here. Okay, and if that actually happens, then I'll be very confident to say that this trade can, play out the way that I've just anticipated. Yes, my pending orders are there, risking 1% and aiming 3%. So I'll be expecting, or rather anticipating, for that to happen coming in maybe next week, or maybe coming in on January next year. Okay, so a slight pullback to maybe a certain supply right there will give me more confirmation of the move to the downside, because as you can see, also the bearish flag is, proving that everything will play out as projected, or rather anticipated. 4 hour now. I'm not going to explain everything like the way that, like where, from where the daily started, the daily pullback started. So let's just start with the internal structure. But before I do that, you can see very well that price has been in a down move. Okay, so in this down move, I'm expecting for it to continue. Okay, so for the internal structure, we can see from the black dotted dashed line. Okay, we see that, let me just try and draw on it. We are playing between this high and this low. Price has pulled back to the premium side, but as you check very well, for me, I've noticed that after this change of character, we've not had price coming back to this um, supply. So maybe that could be the reason why they want to come back here with this pullback. So we see price coming back down to that demand, but it's the whole range demand before the change of character. And then we have another change of character here, which price pushed up. Okay, price pushed up, came back down, and then pushed up again. We've had a change of character here. Price pulled back to the supply and then pushed to the downside. So this again is another move to the upside. Okay, to just come and touch that demand, that supply. So maybe, just maybe, they could be doing a slight pullback to here before continuing to the upside. Okay, just to, continue with this uptrend, and also come and mitigate the supply. Okay, so I had a trade here. But it wasn't tagged, so I moved it out. I have just left it there because I wanted to explain to you and let you know that that trade was there, but it wasn't tagged because initially, after the move to the downside right here with this candle, I pulled it out and then, let the price play out. So coming in on Friday, you see there was this move to the downside, which was actually coming to this demand. Okay, and as you can see, also price is respecting this trend line to build more liquidity. So maybe this one is the one that will be used to come and mitigate that supply above. Okay, so if say for example, if price, let me just draw on it, if price comes to that demand that you just see, the last demand right here, well, it's not a demand for now because this last candle has not broken that high. So if it does break, let me just draw on it in a second. So if it does happen like this, okay, say for example from here, it just continues to the upside to come and, take out this high, then I'll be very much confident to look for buys from here and then play that move to the upside to that supply. Okay, so that is just what I'll be anticipating. So that is the 4 hour. From the 15 minutes, there's one trade that I just want to talk about during this week. Let me just try and push it back. and pull it, say somewhere there. Okay, so from the 15-minute, I noticed that we had this change of character right here, and then price came up to this supply, came back down to mitigate that demand, and then now we started the internal structures. You see how the internal structure now was built, coming down now to that last demand right here. You can see it was building that descending triangle. Okay, so it broke it around here, and then price came back to mitigate this demand. Okay, and then price continued to the upside. So I told you guys that every time when you see this purple and red trade, that means that I missed that trade. Okay, and I missed it because I wasn't around, so I went out for some errands, and yeah, coming in the evening, everything just played out as expected. Okay, and yeah, it's very painful. It's very painful to see something like this. And I wish this by the way, this would have been the only trade I would have taken if I was in, and um getting that profit. This would have been a very good 3 hour profit to the upside. Okay, so we range a little bit around here and then push to the upside to break that last structure, or rather that high. Okay, and then price came down to take out most of the lows here. Okay, and also that demand, and then price continued to the upside, as you can see. So right here where price is right now, where my mouse has been placed, we see there was a change of character around there. Okay, like that, and then price range a little bit before it pushed to the downside to come and mitigate that demand, and then came down. Remember, this brown demand or levels are the 4 hour zones. Okay, they're the 4 hour POI zones. So as you can see, for me, I was expecting for this demand right here to come and mitigate this supply. Okay, so I placed in my I placed in my trade right there. So price range a little bit. I got bought, so I went to sleep and let it play out. But as you can see, after going to sleep the next day, after this vertical line, we see the price came down and took me out. Okay. So again, coming in on Friday, we see price pushing down to that demand, and also that trend line that we saw on the 4 hour. You see how it was respected by price continuing to the upside. So what I'm expecting right now is price maybe coming down to either of the demands where I'm marking right now, to either of the demands before maybe continuing to the upside. That is just my anticipation on EURUSD, because we are on an uptrend. So this will be my 4 hour demand that I'll be expecting price to um, you know react from, and then continue with that move to the upside. So I think that's just it for the episode and the edition. And yeah, if you want us to trade together, you can let me know in my inbox, or maybe TikTok or Telegram, and give you the link so that you can join for free. If you want private mentorship, also let me know. But for now, I don't have much to say, but you guys have a nice weekend, and yeah, God bless you all. See you on the next one. Peace.